The dark market of Zeltra was always loud, crowded, and full of strange smells, but that night it felt different. The air was heavier, the voices were sharper, and something cruel was happening at the center of the market. A blind alien woman stood on a small metal platform, trembling from head to toe. Her hands were tied in front of her, and her head was bowed so low that her long white hair covered half her face. She could not see the crowd, but she could hear every whisper, every laugh, every insult. Her husband, a tall alien with cold eyes, stood beside her. He shouted to the buyers, "She is useless. Blind and timid. I will sell her at any price. Take her away." He pushed her shoulder so hard that she almost fell. She gasped softly and tried to steady her breathing. She had never imagined her life would end like this, sold like a broken object in a public market. People gathered around her. Some looked disgusted, some looked amused, no one looked kind. She stood silently, waiting for the moment someone would grab her and drag her away. She heard the clinking of coins, the arguing voices, and the cruel jokes. Someone said, "She's worth nothing." Another said, "Her husband wants her gone." There must be something wrong with her. Her heart was shaking. She wanted to disappear. She wished her blindness could block the voices too. But everything was loud, painful, and full of fear. Then, everything suddenly went quiet. The blind woman felt at first a presence, warm and still, standing somewhere close in front of her. The market noise faded behind him. She felt his shadow fall over her like a shield. She did not know him. She had never smelled a scent like his before. It was clean, strange, and human. The human traveler had been walking through the market when he saw her. At first he thought she was a statue, but when she trembled, he froze in place. He saw the bruises on her arms, the fresh marks on her wrists, and the way she stood like someone who had forgotten what safety felt like. His chest tightened. He stepped forward slowly. "Why is she being sold?" he asked in a low, calm voice. The husband turned and laughed. "Human. She is blind. She is weak. She is useless in a fight, useless at home. You can take her for almost nothing." The human looked at the woman again. She was breathing fast, too fast. Her fingers were shaking. She did not lift her head, but he could tell she was listening carefully to his voice. Something inside him whispered, "She doesn't belong here." A buyer from the back shouted, "Human, stay away from her. She's trouble." Another said, "Humans don't understand our kind. Don't touch her." But the human ignored them. He stepped closer until he was right in front of the blind woman. She sensed him and tensed, expecting a slap or a cruel pull. Instead, the human lifted his hand gently and touched her arm with only 2 fingers. She flinched, but she didn't pull away. That surprised even her. His touch wasn't rough. It wasn't cold. It wasn't demanding. It was careful, soft, and warm, something she never felt in her own home. The human spoke softly, almost whispering, "Are you hurt?" The woman opened her mouth, but no sound came out. Her throat was too tight. She simply lowered her head even more. The husband rolled his eyes. "She doesn't talk. She barely eats. She's nothing but a burden." The human's jaw tightened. He looked at the husband with calm but sharp eyes. "I'll take her," the crowd gasped. Someone shouted, "Are you crazy? She's blind." Another yelled, "Humans are strange. They take in broken things." The husband smirked. "Fine, pay and go. She's worth nothing anyway." The human paid the small amount, untied her hands, and gently held her wrist so she would know where to walk. His grip was soft, guiding but not controlling. She felt confused. No one had ever held her like that. As he led her out of the market, she asked in a tiny, trembling voice, Why did you take me?" The human looked at her with surprise. It was the first time he had heard her speak. He answered quietly, "Because no one should be left alone like that." Behind them, in the shadows, a pair of angry alien eyes watched them leave. The husband had not finished with them, not at all. The human walked slowly through the crowded paths of the dark market, guiding the blind alien woman with a gentle hold on her wrist. She followed him carefully, listening to every sound around her. Every step felt like stepping into a new world. She could not see where he was taking her, but his voice, his footsteps, and the warmth of his hand told her one thing: he was not like the others. When they reached the quieter streets, he spoke softly. "Slow steps. The ground is uneven here." No one had ever warned her about danger in such a gentle way. She nodded without speaking. Her long white hair brushed her face as she walked. She could feel her fear slowly loosening, but not disappearing. It was still there, like a shadow walking behind her. They reached a small shelter made of metal and wood, simple, clean, and quiet. The moment she stepped inside, the air felt different. There was no shouting, no laughing, no insults. Only silence, warm and peaceful. The human let go of her wrist slowly, not wanting to scare her. "You're safe here," he said softly. "Sit, if you want." She didn't move. Safe, that was a word she had never understood. She did not know what safety felt like. The human stepped around the room quietly, making sure things were within her reach. He placed a blanket on the small chair near her. He placed a cup of warm water on the table next to her. He moved slowly so she could hear every step and not feel lost. Then he returned to her. "The chair is beside you. My hand is here, just follow my voice." He touched her hand lightly, guiding her fingers to the chair. She sat down carefully. She felt the blanket. It was soft. Softer than anything she had touched in years. The human watched her silently. She kept her head down as if expecting punishment. For sitting, his heart tightened. "What is your name?" he asked gently. She hesitated for a long moment, then whispered, "Lyra." Her voice was barely a breath. It was as if she had not spoken in months. "And I am Aaron," he replied, with a warm tone. "If anything scares you, tell me. I won't get angry." Lyra's fingers tightened around the blanket. You won't hit me?" Aaron froze. His chest felt heavy. "No, never." Lyra slowly looked in his direction, though her blind eyes wandered off slightly. She could not see him, but she tried to face him. "Why do you help me?" she asked quietly. Aaron sat on the floor a few steps away from her, making sure his movement wouldn't frighten her. "Because you deserve kindness." "Everyone does," Lyra shook her head. "Blind ones have no worth." "Not to your people, maybe," Aaron replied softly. "But to me, your heart still matters." She had no answer. No one had ever spoken to her like that. She felt something warm spreading in her chest, confusion, fear, and a tiny spark of hope. Aaron handed her the cup of warm water. "Careful, it's warm." She reached out slowly. Her fingers touched the cup, then brushed against his hand. She pulled back quickly, embarrassed. Aaron did not mind. He gently pushed the cup toward her again. She lifted it with both hands and drank slowly. Her husband never gave her water gently. He used to throw it at her feet. Lyra felt her throat tighten again, but this time, not from fear. Just when she began to relax, a strange sound came from outside, a footstep, then another. Heavy, slow, watching, Lyra turned her head instantly. She could feel someone's presence. Her senses were sharper because of her blindness. She knew someone was nearby. Aaron stood up quietly, looking toward the door. He didn't open it. He didn't move recklessly. He only listened. Lyra whispered, "He found me." Aaron turned toward her. "Who?" "My husband," she whispered with shaking breath. "He never leaves anything he thinks he owns." Aaron stepped closer to her. "You are not his anymore." But Lyra shook her head. "He will try to take me back, even if he has to hurt you." Aaron smiled slightly, but his eyes were sharp, ready. "Let him come. I won't let anyone hurt." You again. Lyra felt his confidence, his calm voice, his steady breathing. It wrapped around her like warmth. But outside the shelter, someone slipped into the shadows, watching them closely, waiting for the right moment. The peace was only temporary. The real danger was just beginning. Aaron waited until the mysterious footsteps outside faded into the distance, but he didn't relax fully. His eyes stayed on the door for a long moment, listening, thinking, preparing. Lyra sat quietly in the chair, clutching the soft blanket like it was her only shield in the world. She couldn't see his worried expression, but she could sense the tension in the room. Every heartbeat sounded louder in her ears. Finally, Aaron knelt beside her. His voice was gentle again. "Lyra, you're safe for now." No one came inside. She nodded slowly, though her hands were still shaking. "I know his steps," she whispered. "He was here. He always follows when he thinks he lost control." Aaron frowned but did not question her. Instead, he asked softly, "Are you cold? Hungry? Do you need anything?" Lyra hesitated. She wanted to say no. She wanted to say she needed nothing. Her whole life, asking for anything only brought punishment. But something inside her cracked open a little when she heard his voice. It wasn't commanding. It wasn't impatient. Human. She swallowed hard. "My hands hurt." Aaron's eyes shifted to her fingers. They were trembling even though she was holding the blanket tightly. Slowly, gently, he reached for her wrist. "May I see?" Lyra froze. She didn't pull away, but her breath caught in her throat. "If you must." Aaron carefully pushed the blanket aside and lifted her hand into the light. The moment he saw her skin, his heart twisted painfully. There were old scars running across her palm and wrist, thin, deep, and cold-looking. Some were white from age, others pink from recent wounds. They looked like marks from rough ropes. Or worse, he had seen injuries before, bruises from fights, cuts from training, even burns from alien machinery. But these scars felt different. These were made slowly, repeatedly, by someone who didn't see her as a living person. He whispered, "Who did this to you?" Lyra lowered her head. "My husband." Her voice cracked. "He said I moved too slowly. He said I needed to learn. Blind ones must obey quickly." Aaron clenched his jaw. He didn't speak for a moment, afraid his anger might frighten her. Instead, he gently turned her hand over, tracing one of the scars with the lightest touch. Lyra gasped quietly, not from pain but from surprise. No one had ever touched her wounds softly before. "Does this hurt?" he asked. No," she whispered. "It's just—" "No one has ever touched me like that." Aaron nodded slowly. "You suffered more than anyone should. I'm sorry." Lyra shook her head weakly. "Do not be sorry. I am used to it. You shouldn't be," Aaron said quietly. For a moment, silence filled the room, soft, heavy, but gentle. Aaron took a clean cloth, dipped it in warm water, and moved closer. "Let me clean them, only if you're comfortable." She pulled her hand back slightly, her fear rising again. "I don't want to trouble you." "It's not trouble," Aaron replied softly. "Lyra, I want to help." Her lips trembled. Slowly, reluctantly, she extended her hand toward him. Aaron caught it gently, as if holding something fragile and precious. When the warm cloth touched her skin, Lyra inhaled sharply. Not from pain, but from the surprising warmth. She didn't remember the last time someone cleaned her wounds with care. Maybe no one ever had. Aaron moved slowly, giving her time to breathe and adjust. "Did he hurt you because you're blind?" he asked quietly. Lyra nodded. "In our tribe, blindness means weakness. Weakness means burden. Burden means punishment." Aaron's heart tightened. "Not in my world," he said firmly. "Blind people are respected. They work, they live, they dream just like everyone else. They are never, never treated like this." Lyra's breathing quickened. "Your world sounds impossible." Aaron smiled softly. "It's real. Her shoulders shook. She lifted her free hand slightly, uncertain, searching the air. Aaron gently reached out and held her hand with his other one. She flinched but didn't pull away. Tears rolled silently from the corners of her blind eyes. No one has ever held my hands like this, she whispered, voice breaking. You deserve gentle things, Aaron said quietly. Suddenly, a loud crash sounded outside. Both of them stiffened. Lyra's hand gripped Aaron's tightly. Her voice trembled. He's back. He won't stop. Aaron stood up, placing himself between her and the door. His eyes hardened. Let him come, he said quietly. This time he'll face someone who won't break. Outside, a shadow moved closer. The truth of Lyra's past was revealed. And the next danger was ready to strike. The night outside Aaron's shelter grew colder, but the air inside burned with tension. Lyra sat frozen in her chair, clutching the soft blanket against her chest. Aaron stood near the door, eyes fixed on the shadows outside. The quiet wasn't peaceful, it was dangerous. Too dangerous. Lyra could hear the faint shift of feet, the slow scrape of metal against stone. She knew those sounds better than anyone. He's here, she whispered. My husband. He always moves like that when he wants to punish someone. Aaron turned his head slightly toward her, but his voice stayed steady. He won't touch you, I promise. Lyra shook her head weakly. You don't understand. He does not care who stands in his way. He thinks I belong to him. He will hurt you just to prove it. Aaron didn't answer. Instead, he stepped closer. To the door. Outside, another thud echoed, this time heavier. Someone was pushing something, maybe a weapon, maybe a doorframe, maybe just the air with pure rage. Then a deep, familiar voice boomed outside. Human, come out. You have something that belongs to me. Lyra shivered so violently that the chair shook. She covered her ears, trying to block the voice she feared more than death itself. Aaron unlocked the door, but didn't open it fully. He cracked it just enough to look outside. Her husband stood there, tall and furious, flanked by two alien guards with glowing weapons. His face twisted into an ugly smile. There you are, human, he growled. You bought her for a few coins, but she is still mine. Aaron didn't move an inch. You sold her. She's not your property anymore. The husband stepped closer, claws grazing the ground. Blind females don't make their own choices. Her worth is decided by me, and you stole her. Aaron slowly stepped outside, closing the door behind him but not locking it. Lyra heard his footsteps fade a few steps away. Each second stretched into fear. You sold her, Aaron repeated calmly. If she wants to stay with me, she will stay. The husband burst out laughing. Stay with you, man? Do you think she can survive with your weak kind? She needs someone strong. Someone who knows how to control her. Aaron's jaw tightened. Control? Is that what you call the scars on her hands? The bruises on her back? The guards looked at each other. Even they seemed uncomfortable hearing this. The husband stopped laughing. She is blind, human. Blind ones must be shaped, corrected, taught to obey. Aaron stepped closer, his voice turning cold. You didn't teach her. You broke her. The husband hissed loudly, spit hitting the ground. Enough. Give her back or I will take her with. Or without your bones intact. Inside the shelter, Lyra stood up from her chair, trembling so badly she could barely keep her balance. She reached out blindly, her hands searching for Aaron's voice, but he wasn't there. Only muffled yelling. Only the cold night. Her heart pounded painfully. She didn't want Aaron hurt. She didn't want anyone fighting because of her. She felt useless, helpless, trapped in darkness. Outside, the husband roared. Guards! Grab him! The two guards stepped forward, lifting their glowing spears fast and aggressive. But Aaron moved faster. Humans weren't known for strength on Zelter. But they were known for speed, precision, and a kind of stubborn courage that never made sense to aliens. Aaron dodged the first spear, grabbed the guard's arm, and twisted it sharply. The spear flew out of the guard's hand, clattering across the ground. The second guard lunged. Aaron ducked low, swept his leg out, and knocked the guard off balance. The husband's eyes widened. "You dare fight me? A human?" Aaron didn't answer. He raised the fallen spear, pointing it directly at the husband. "Walk away." The husband snarled, stepping closer. "She will never belong to you." "She doesn't belong to anyone," Aaron replied sharply. "Especially not to someone who treats her like nothing." The husband's face twisted with rage. He charged forward. Aaron braced himself, when suddenly the door behind him burst open. "Stop!" Lyra cried out, her voice shaking but loud. "Please, stop fighting." Everyone froze. The blind alien woman stood barefoot in the doorway, hair falling over her pale face, hands stretched forward, searching for Aaron. She looked fragile, trembling, small, yet her voice carried the weight of years of pain. Aaron stepped back toward her, lowering the spear. The husband stared at her with disgust. "Lyra, you speak, and you come out here?" Lyra shook her head, tears rolling down her cheeks. "I don't want to go with you." Her husband's eyes narrowed. "You don't get to choose." Aaron stepped in front of her again, like a wall, like a shield, like a promise. "She chooses." Now, for the first time in her life, someone stood between her and the monster who ruined her. And the night exploded with tension, because this fight was far from over. The night air felt heavy as Aaron stood protectively in front of Lyra. Her husband glared at them with furious, wild eyes. The guards stood frozen, unsure if they should obey the husband or step back from the human who fought like a storm. Lyra's bare feet trembled against the cold ground as she clung to the doorway. She couldn't see the danger, but she could feel the tension like sharp needles in the air. Aaron whispered softly without turning around, "Lyra, go back inside. It's safer." But she shook her head. "No. You are in danger because of me." Her voice cracked, yet she didn't move. Her husband growled, "She's nothing human. Blind, weak, silent. She obeys because she must." Lyra flinched at his words, but Aaron's voice rose sharply. "She obeyed because you broke her, not because she wanted to." The husband stepped closer, claws glinting in the light. "You speak too much enough. She comes with me now." Lyra's breath hitched. She felt for Aaron, her fingers brushing the back of his shirt. The small touch made him glance toward her. "Aaron," she whispered, barely holding back tears. "Why do you keep stopping him?" Aaron turned slightly, just enough for her to hear the warmth in his voice. "Because you deserve someone to stand for you. Maybe for the first time in your life." Those words hit her like a soft light cutting through endless darkness. Her blind eyes filled with tears she didn't know she still had. No one had ever said she deserved anything. No one had ever protected her. No one had ever been gentle without expecting something in return. Aaron lifted the spear he had taken from the guard. "Go home," he warned the husband. "This fight is not worth your pride," the husband hissed. "Pride? She embarrassed me for years, and now she embarrasses me again by choosing the human." His voice crashed through the quiet night like thunder. Lyra felt a sudden warmth in her chest. Choosing. Did she really choose? She didn't even realize she had made a choice. Yet her feet had moved toward Aaron on their own. Her hands had reached for him without thinking. Her heart had leaned toward him long before she understood why. Aaron raised the spear higher. "Last warning," the husband charged. It happened fast, too fast for Lyra to follow by sound alone. She heard the sharp scrape of claws on stone, the grunt of a man pushing forward, and the firm movement of Aaron stepping to the side. His quick footwork, human training, and sharp reflexes took control. He dodged, blocked, and struck with precision. The guards backed away, confused, stunned by the human speed. The husband crashed into the ground with a painful growl, dust rising around him. Lyra gasped. "Aaron?" "I'm okay," he said quickly. The husband stumbled to his feet again, furious. "I will tear you apart." But something unexpected happened. Lyra moved. She didn't know why. She didn't know how. But her body reacted before she even thought. She stepped forward, reaching out blindly until her hands found Aaron's sleeve. She pulled him back slightly, her trembling voice rising. "No more," she cried. "Please, please stop hurting him. He is the only one who touched me without pain." Everything froze. Aaron felt her grip tighten, small, fragile, desperate, but full of something new. Trust. The husband stared at her with disbelief. "You defend him?" Lyra nodded slowly. "He showed me kindness. Something you never did. Something I never thought I would feel." Aaron felt his heart tighten. Lyra's voice shook, but her words were strong. Stronger than he ever expected from someone who lived in fear for so long. She continued, "I don't want to go with you. I don't want to live in darkness anymore. Not the darkness outside. The darkness you gave me inside." Her husband roared, "You ungrateful creature." Aaron stood in front of her again. "Enough. If she doesn't want to go with you, you have no claim over her. You are human." The husband shouted, "Your words mean nothing." Aaron's voice turned colder, but her words mean everything. The husband lunged again. This time Aaron didn't fight to win. He fought to finish it. With a sharp twist and a strike from the spear's handle, Aaron knocked the husband to the ground, leaving him coughing and defeated. The guards stepped back even farther, clearly unwilling to fight Aaron again. Breathing heavily, Aaron asked, "Do you want to try again?" The husband glared, but fear finally cracked through his arrogance. "This isn't over," he spat. "The tribe will hear of this." Aaron stepped closer. "Good, let them." The husband stumbled away with the guards, vanishing into the night. As soon as the danger faded, Lyra collapsed forward straight into Aaron's arms. He caught her gently, holding her steady. "Aaron," she whispered, voice trembling, "why do I feel safe with you?" He smiled softly. "Because your heart is waking up, and it's stronger than you think." For the first time in her life, Lyra believed it. Her hidden heart had truly begun to awaken. The next morning came with a strange silence. The wind outside Aaron's shelter carried the distant noise of travelers, merchants, and alien creatures. But inside, everything felt still. Lyra sat on the chair with the blanket around her shoulders. She could not see the morning light, but she could feel it warming her skin. Aaron stood near the window, sharpening a small tool quietly. He wasn't preparing for war, he was preparing for trouble. And trouble arrived sooner than expected. A sharp knock shook the door, not angry, not violent, but official. Aaron's head lifted instantly. Lyra's fingers tightened around the blanket. Who is it?" she whispered. Aaron moved closer to her and placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "It's okay. I'll check." When he opened the door, 3 alien officials stood outside wearing glowing silver band symbols of tribal authority. Behind them, curious villagers whispered and pointed. Everyone knew what happened last night. Everyone knew a human had fought. A tribal male for a blind woman no one cared about. The lead official stepped forward. His voice was calm but strict. "Human Aaron and blind female Lyra, the tribe demands judgment. You are both to come with us now." Aaron didn't bow, didn't step back. "Is this about her husband?" "Yes," the official replied. "And about you interfering with tribal customs." Lyra trembled. "Aaron, I don't want to go back to him." Aaron knelt in front of her. "You won't, I'm right here." The officials allowed Aaron to guide her. He held her hand gently, not like the controlling grip her husband once used. The soft contact soothed her as they walked through the market square toward the large meeting platform. Every alien stopped to stare at them. Some whispered, "A blind one shouldn't speak. A human is defending her? This is against tradition." But others whispered something Lyra never expected to hear. "Maybe the human is right. She looks calmer with him. Why did her husband treat her like that?" Lyra felt every voice like a vibration in her chest. She walked slowly, guided by Aaron's steady hand and warm presence. At the platform, her husband stood proudly, pretending his bruises didn't ache. His guard stood behind him. He pointed at Aaron. "See? He stole my wife. He attacked me. He disrespected our laws." Aaron didn't respond. He simply helped Lyra sit on a small bench. She didn't let go of his hand. The tribal elder finally spoke, a tall alien woman with deep blue markings on her face. Her voice carried authority and wisdom. "Let both sides speak." The husband stepped forward dramatically. "Lyra is mine. I took care of her, fed her, allowed her to stay in my home even though she was blind and worthless. She should be grateful." The crowd murmured. Some nodded. Some looked disgusted. Then the elder looked at Lyra. "Do you wish to speak?" Everyone stared. Blind ones almost never spoke in public. Lyra's throat tightened, but Aaron squeezed her hand softly. That one touch gave her courage she didn't know she had. She took a shaking breath. "I do not want to go back to him." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Her husband's face twisted with rage. "You dare speak against me, after everything I did for you?" Lyra lowered her head slightly. "You hurt me, every day. You treated me like a burden. You tied me, punished me, and sold me like an object." The elder's eyes narrowed at the husband. "Is this true?" He growled, "Blind ones must be controlled. It is the law." "I did nothing wrong." Aaron finally stepped forward. "You didn't care for her. You broke her. Look at her scars. Look at her fear. That is not control. That is cruelty." The crowd whispered louder now, uncomfortable, uncertain. The elder raised her voice. "Enough. Lyra, tell us this. Do you wish to stay with the human?" A long silence followed. Lyra's hands trembled violently. She could feel every pair of eyes on her. She could feel her husband's hatred burning. She could feel Aaron's hand warm and steady. She whispered, "Yes." The crowd exploded with reactions: shock, anger, disbelief, and even admiration. Her husband roared, "No, she is mine." The elder slammed her staff on the ground. Silence. The echo silenced the entire marketplace. The elder looked at Lyra, then at Aaron. "The tribe believes a blind one has no voice, but today, she spoke the truth." She turned to the husband. "You sold her. You abused her. You shamed the tribe." He stepped back, stunned. The elder lifted her staff again. "Lyra is free. You have no claim over her. And the human, Aaron, is now her protector." Lyra gasped softly. Aaron felt her hand tighten around his. The husband screamed in rage, but no one supported him anymore. Even his guards stepped away. The judgment was final. For the first time in her life, Lyra wasn't owned. She wasn't controlled. She wasn't voiceless. She was free. But freedom came with a price. And a new beginning was waiting for her and Aaron, one that would change both their lives forever. When the judgment ended, the crowd slowly scattered across the marketplace, still whispering about what they had witnessed. A blind woman speaking for herself. A human defending her with courage. A husband losing control in front of the entire tribe. Nothing like this had happened in their history. Lyra stood quietly beside Aaron, still holding his hand. She could not see the shifting expressions around her, but she could hear the changing tones: curiosity instead of disgust, respect instead of mockery. It felt strange. It felt unreal. It felt like she had stepped out of a nightmare and into a world she never believed existed. Erin helped her walk away from the judgment platform. Every step she took felt lighter, like the chains she once carried had fallen silently behind her. But her heart raced with confusion. Freedom was something she didn't understand yet. When they reached the quiet path leading back to Erin's shelter, Lyra finally spoke. "Erin, what does it mean to be free?" Erin slowed his steps. "It means you choose your own path, your own voice, your own life." Lyra touched her chest gently. "But I don't know how to choose. I never decided anything before." Erin smiled softly. "Then we take one small choice at a time, together." Those last words made Lyra's heart beat faster. The warmth in his voice held no pity, only genuine care. Inside the shelter, Erin guided her to the same chair she sat on before. She knew its shape now, its position, its scent. It already felt familiar, like a safe place. Erin poured water into a cup and placed it near her hand. "Drink slowly." "You haven't eaten since morning." Lyra hesitated. "Why do you treat me so well?" "Because kindness is free," Erin replied softly. "And you deserve more of it." Lyra lowered her head, unable to stop her tears. Not the tears of fear she once cried, but tears of a heart learning to heal. After a long silence, she whispered, "Erin, do you think I'm broken?" Erin sat beside her and gently took her hands. "No, Lyra, you were hurt. Hurt deeply. But broken? Never." She lifted her blind eyes toward his voice. "Then, what am I?" "You are strong," Erin said. "Even when the world gave you darkness, you kept walking. Even when everyone ignored you, you learned to listen. Even when pain was all you knew, you still felt kindness when it came." Lyra covered her mouth with both hands as soft sobs escaped. She had never heard anyone describe her as anything other than useless, weak, or burden. Erin stayed close, not touching her unless she reached for him first. He understood she needed gentleness, not pressure. When she finally calmed, she whispered, "I want to learn what freedom feels like." Erin smiled. "Then let's start now." He helped her stand, guiding her outside. The market was calmer. Now the sun warm on her face. Lyra lifted her head, breathing deeply. She couldn't see the sky, but she could feel it stretching endlessly above her. Erin placed her hand on the bark of a tree. "Touch this. It's the first thing you explore as a free woman." Lyra traced the rough texture with her fingers. Her eyes softened. "It feels alive." "You're alive too," Erin said gently. "Really alive now." She turned toward his voice, her blind eyes searching for the shape of his presence. "Erin, can I stay with you?" He hesitated only for a moment, long enough to give her the freedom of choice. "If that is what you want, then yes, it is," she whispered. "With you. I feel safe. I feel something warm inside. Me. I don't know what to call it." Erin stepped closer, letting her sense his warmth. "It's your heart waking up, Lyra." She lifted her hand slowly, searching, unsure. Erin gently placed her hand on his chest. She felt his steady heartbeat beneath her palm. Her lips parted in amazement. "Your heart, it feels strong." "And now your heart can learn its own strength," Erin said quietly. Lyra took a step forward, leaning her forehead lightly against his chest. "Then, stay with me. Walk with me. Teach me the world I never saw." Erin wrapped his arms around her, carefully, gentle, warm, protective. "I will." For the first time in her life, Lyra felt truly seen, even without sight. For the first time in her life, she felt wanted, without fear. For the first time in her life, her heart beat with hope instead of pain. The blind alien woman who was once sold for nothing had found someone who treated her as everything. And her new beginning had only just begun.